Hi everyone, today we'll be discussing the LeetCode problem of the day, largest perimeter triangle. In this problem, you are given an integer array nums and you have to return the largest perimeter of a triangle with non-zero area, and that is formed by picking any three sides from this nums array. And if it's impossible to form any triangle with non-zero area, then you just have to return 0. So for example, you have this number array 2, 1 and 2. So with this, you can form a triangle. This will have side 2, and this will have a side length 2, and this will have the side length 1. So for this triangle, the perimeter is 5, so you will return 5. Now for the second example, we have the numbers 1, 2, 1 and 10. No matter what triplets we pick from this number, we can't form a triangle. So if we pick 1, 1 and 2, so let's say 2 is the side of the longest side. Now for the other two sides, so this is 2, for this is, the 2 is done. Now for the other side, let's say we have the side like this, and the other side is also 1, so it is like this. So we can see that this triangle doesn't have it has the area 0, so this is not a valid triangle. Now let's see for the other example, which is 1, 1 and 10. So one side is 10. No matter what you do, however you place the other two sides, so this side is 1 and this side is 1, so this will not form a triangle. So it's an open object, so it's not a triangle. And for the third example as well, you have 1, 2 and 10. So the first side is 10 and second side is 2 and the third side is 1. So this triangle, this is also not a valid triangle because the sides don't meet. So for this input, we just have to return 0. Now coming to the approach, to form a valid triangle, we have a property that if C is the longest side, then the sum of the other two sides should always be greater than C. If this property is true, then only we can form a triangle. So based on this formula, we can just iterate on the longest side C and check if whether we are able to form a triangle or not. So for that, first we'll sort the array, since we want the perimeter to be the longest. So if we sort this array, it will become 1, 2 and 2. So now 2 is the longest side, so C is 2. Now we want the other two sides, A plus B, which is greater than 2. So greedily we can just choose the next two consecutive elements to be A and B, and if we check, we have 1 plus 2 is greater than 2, so this is a valid triangle with the sides 1, 2 and 2. So the perimeter is 5. Now if you see the second example, the array after sorting is 1, 1, 2 and 10. Now let's see 10 as the longest side. So if we pick the other two elements for the other side is 1 and 2, we have 1 plus 2, which is greater than 10. So this is false because 1 plus 2 is not greater than 10. So with 10 as the longest side, we can't take a triangle. Now let's move on to the next, the previous element. Now let's say 2 is the longest side. With 2 as the longest side, we have the choices for other two sides as 1 and 1. So 1 plus 1 greater than 2. This is also false. So with 1, 1 and 2 also you can't form a valid triangle. And after that, you stop here, because if you take 1 as the longest side, then in the array, you don't have two elements to form the valid triangle. So for this input, 0 is the answer because you can't form any triangle. I have another example. So the array will be something like this: 5, 10, 5, 4 and 3. So for this as well, first we'll see 10 as the longest side, and the other two sides will be 4 and 5. So 4 plus 5 greater than 10. It is false. So we move to the next element. Now 5 is the longest side. So the other two sides are 3 and 4. So 3 plus 4 is greater than 5. So that means we formed a triangle, and we just return here, because if we keep moving to the left, the perimeter keeps decreasing. So when we found a valid triangle, we simply return. So in this case, the answer will be 5 plus 4 plus 3, which is 12. Now coming to the code, first step is to sort the array nums, and after sorting we'll iterate it from right to left because we want the largest perimeter first. So for int I equal to nums.length I greater than 2. We will have I greater than 2 because if the second index is the largest side, then the first index and 0 index can be the other two elements. But if we have index 1 as the largest side, then there aren't enough elements to have the shortest sides. So we'll just iterate till index 2. So we want index 2, so the condition will be I greater than 1 and I minus minus. So now nums of I is the longest side, and the condition that should fulfill is the shortest side sum should be greater than the longest side. So let's just check that. Nums of I minus 1 plus nums of I minus 2. If the sum is greater than nums of I, then we can simply return the perimeter. Return nums of I plus nums of I minus 1 plus I minus 2. And at the end of the loop, if you haven't found any valid triangle, just return 0. Nums of I less than nums of I minus 1 plus nums of I minus 2. Okay, I should start from nums.length minus 1 since the array is 0 based indexing. And let me submit. Yeah, it works. Finally, let's do the time and space complexity analysis. First, for time complexity, we are simply iterating the array. So this will be order of n operation. But since we are sorting the array, this will take order of NlogN. So the overall complexity will be NlogN. And for the space complexity, we are not initializing any variables. So the space complexity will be order of 1. I also have the code written in Python. If anyone wants to view it, I'll add in the description as well. And let's catch up in the next video.